Life is not transformed in sweeping gestures, but in the whispers of daily choices. Each moment holds the seed of change, waiting for your nurturing hand. Small habits often overlooked possess the quiet power to redirect the course of your existence. Change, profound and lasting, rarely arrives as a sudden transformation. It is not a dramatic upheaval or a grand gesture that alters the course of a life. Instead, true change is the result of small, consistent actions, a steady accumulation of effort that over time becomes an unshakable force. This is the power of incremental change, a principle both subtle and transformative, rooted in the understanding that every great journey begins with a single step. Imagine a drop of water falling onto a rock. One drop, then another, then another. Individually, each drop seems insignificant, incapable of causing any noticeable difference. Yet over time, as the water continues to fall in the same place, the rock begins to erode, reshaped not by force but by persistence. In the same way, the seemingly minor actions you take today hold the potential to shape the contours of your future. The essence of incremental change lies in its simplicity. It asks nothing extraordinary of you, only that you show up consistently. It is easy to underestimate the power of such small efforts. After all, one moment of mindfulness, one healthier choice, one act of kindness, how could these possibly matter in the grand scheme of things? But herein lies the beauty. It is not the magnitude of the act that brings transformation, but its repetition. The mind often seeks immediate gratification, craving quick results and dramatic progress. This is why we are drawn to the allure of sudden breakthroughs, grand resolutions, or sweeping reforms. Yet, such rapid changes often prove unsustainable because they lack a solid foundation. Incremental change, on the other hand, builds slowly but firmly, creating habits and patterns that endure. I think of a garden. You do not plant a seed and expect a tree to sprout overnight. Instead, you water it daily, nourish it with sunlight, and tend to its needs with patience. Over weeks, months, and years, the seed grows into a towering tree, its strength rooted in the steady care it received. Similarly, your actions, no matter how small, are like those daily drops of water or rays of sunlight nurturing the growth of something much larger than themselves. Incremental change also teaches the value of focus. When you direct your energy toward a single, consistent effort, you avoid the overwhelm that often accompanies ambitious goals. Instead of attempting to climb the entire mountain in one leap, you take it step by step. Each step builds upon the last, and before you know it, you find yourself standing at the summit. This principle is not limited to personal endeavors. It applies to every area of life. Relationships, for instance, are not strengthened through grand declarations or fleeting moments of passion, but through daily acts of care, understanding. A bond deepens when you consistently show up, offering your attention and affection in countless small ways. Even when progress feels slow or invisible, incremental change is at work. It is easy to grow discouraged when results are not immediately apparent, but trust in the process is essential. Just as a seed germinates unseen beneath the soil before breaking through the surface, the changes you cultivate may not be visible right away, but they are happening nonetheless. The beauty of this approach is that it is accessible to all. It requires no special resources, only the willingness to begin and the commitment to continue. It strips away the intimidating notion that change must be monumental, replacing it with the reassuring truth that every small action matters. Incremental change is a reminder that life itself is composed of small moments, each one building upon the last. The power to transform lies not in waiting for the extraordinary, but in embracing the ordinary, trusting that over time, those small, consistent steps will lead to something far greater than you ever imagined. Each day begins as a blank canvas, unmarked by the events that will fill its hours. In this pure and untouched space lies the potential to shape not only the day, but the trajectory of your life. How you choose to step into the morning sets the tone for everything that follows, creating a ripple effect that carries through your thoughts, actions, and interactions. This is the essence of a mindful beginning, a practice of starting each day with purpose and awareness, grounding yourself in the present moment before the demands of the world take hold. To begin mindfully is to pause before the rush. It is to greet the day with a sense of intention, rather than being swept up in the currents of routine and obligation. This practice is not about perfection or rigid structure, but about creating a moment of stillness in which you can connect with yourself and your surroundings. In this moment, you reclaim a sense of control over how you approach the hours ahead, no longer reacting to circumstances, but instead responding with clarity and purpose. The first few moments upon waking are uniquely powerful. In these fleeting seconds, your mind is still soft and receptive, unburdened by the clutter of the day. It is a time when your thoughts and emotions are most malleable, making it the perfect opportunity to plant the seeds of intention. A simple practice, such as acknowledging the gift of a new day or setting a quiet resolve for how you wish to carry yourself, can anchor you in a state of presence and gratitude. This mindful awareness extends beyond your thoughts to your actions. The way you move through the morning, whether rushing through tasks or embracing each one with care, sets a precedent for how you will navigate the rest of the day. Something as simple as the act of drinking a glass of water, when done with full attention, becomes an opportunity to ground yourself. Feel the coolness of the glass in your hand, the sensation of the water as it quenches your thirst. In these seemingly ordinary moments, there is an extraordinary potential to connect with the here and now. To cultivate a mindful beginning is to invite intention into every choice, no matter how small. Consider the first steps you take, the words you speak, and the thoughts you entertain. Are they in harmony with the life you wish to create? When you approach the morning with such awareness, you begin to see it not as a hurried prelude to the day, but as a sacred space to align yourself with your deeper values. The power of a mindful beginning lies in its simplicity and accessibility. It does not demand grand gestures or elaborate rituals, but asks only that you bring your full attention to the present. In doing so, you create a foundation of calm and clarity that supports you throughout the day. Even the act of taking a few deep breaths upon waking can have a profound impact, grounding you in your body and quieting the chatter of the mind. This practice is also an invitation to approach the morning with a sense of curiosity and openness. Each day is a new beginning, a chance to rewrite the narrative of your life. By entering it with mindfulness, you free yourself from the weight of past regrets or future anxieties, allowing yourself to fully inhabit the present moment. Mindful beginnings are not about controlling the outcome of the day, but about setting an intention for how you wish to move through it. They remind you that no matter what lies ahead, you have the power to choose your response. It is in this choice that you find freedom, a freedom that begins with the simple yet profound act of starting the day with awareness and care. Observation is one of the most powerful yet underappreciated habits you can cultivate. It is the ability to watch the world, your surroundings, and yourself with a quiet attentiveness, free from judgment or interference. In its purest form, observation is not about analyzing or categorizing, but simply noticing what is allowing you to see clearly without the filter of preconceived notions or emotional reactions. This practice is transformative, offering insights that can shift how you perceive and interact with the world. To cultivate the habit of observation, you must first become a witness to your inner world. Your thoughts, emotions, and reactions often operate like background noise, unnoticed yet deeply influential. By observing these mental patterns, you begin to recognize how they shape your decisions and behavior. For instance, notice the thoughts that arise in moments of stress or the emotions triggered by a specific interaction. Instead of becoming entangled in them, step back and watch. Observe their presence, their texture, and how they ebb and flow. This practice is not about suppressing or controlling your thoughts and feelings. It is about creating space between you and them. In this space, you find freedom, the freedom to choose your response, rather than being swept away by automatic reactions. A fleeting moment of anger, when observed, no longer dictates your words or actions. A sudden wave of doubt, when noticed, loses its power to derail your confidence. Observation transforms these experiences from obstacles into opportunities for awareness and growth. The habit of observation extends outward as well. It is about being fully present to the world around you. In a conversation, observe not just the words being spoken, but the tone, the pauses, and the expressions that accompany them. Pay attention to the subtle cues that reveal more than what is said. This level of attentiveness fosters deeper connections and a greater understanding of others. Observation also enhances your ability to appreciate the world's richness. When you truly look at something, a tree swaying in the wind, the intricate patterns of a leaf, or the play of light across a surface, you are reminded of the beauty in the details. These moments of presence awaken a sense of wonder and connection, grounding you in the reality of the present moment. Cultivating this habit requires practice, as the mind is often restless, jumping from one thought to another. Begin with small, intentional acts of observation. Pause and take a moment to notice your surroundings. What do you see, hear, and feel? Engage your senses fully. Over time, this deliberate act of noticing becomes second nature, a lens through which you view the world with heightened clarity. The beauty of observation lies in its simplicity. It does not require special tools or elaborate rituals. All it asks is your attention, your willingness to be present. And in return, it offers a profound gift, a deeper understanding of yourself and your place within the larger tapestry of life. As you strengthen this habit, you may find that observation leads to a natural detachment, not in the sense of indifference, but in the ability to let go of attachment to outcomes or expectations. You begin to see things as they are, rather than how you wish them to be. This clarity allows you to respond to life's challenges with grace and wisdom, rather than reacting impulsively. Through observation, you also develop a greater sense of empathy and compassion. By noticing the struggles, joys, and subtleties in others, you come to understand that everyone carries their own complexities. This awareness deepens your connections and fosters a sense of shared humanity. The habit of observation is not about seeking control or mastery, but about cultivating awareness. It is a gentle reminder that life is not a series of problems to be solved, but a series of moments to be witnessed. Through observation, you discover the art of simply being, a state of presence that holds the potential to transform how you experience the world. Stillness is an ancient yet often overlooked treasure, quietly waiting beneath the surface of our busy lives. It is not the absence of activity, nor is it mere idleness. Stillness is a state of being, a profound presence that allows you to step away from the relentless motion of the world and return to yourself. In the depths of stillness, you find clarity, peace, and the space to reconnect with what truly matters. The world often equates movement with progress, encouraging constant striving and doing. Yet paradoxically, it is in stillness that the most profound shifts occur. Stillness provides a sanctuary, a moment to pause and reflect, free from the demands of the external. In this pause, you can observe the patterns of your life, your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment or distraction. Through this quiet observation, a deeper understanding begins to emerge, illuminating what was once obscured by the noise of constant activity. When you embrace stillness, you discover its transformative power. It slows the ceaseless chatter of the mind, creating a space where thoughts can settle and clarity can arise. Much like muddy water left undisturbed becomes clear, the mind, when granted stillness, reveals its natural state of calm and insight. In this clarity, solutions to problems appear not as struggles, but as gentle realizations. Decisions, once clouded by doubt, become grounded in an inner knowing. Stillness is not merely an escape from chaos, but a tool for grounding yourself in the present moment. It allows you to inhabit your life more fully, to notice the subtleties you might otherwise miss. The rustle of leaves, the rhythm of your breath, The warmth of sunlight on your skin, these simple sensations hold a richness that becomes accessible only when you slow down. In stillness, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and life itself feels more vivid and alive. This practice also cultivates resilience. In moments of stillness, you can face your thoughts and emotions without distraction. Rather than fleeing discomfort or seeking immediate solutions, you learn to sit with whatever arises. This process, though challenging at times, builds an inner strength that allows you to navigate life's uncertainties with grace. Stillness teaches you that you are not your thoughts or emotions, you are the observer of these passing experiences. This realization fosters a sense of detachment and calm, even in the face of turmoil. Stillness is deeply restorative, offering a counterbalance to the demands of daily life. It replenishes energy and provides the mental space necessary for creativity and inspiration. Many of history's greatest thinkers and creators have attributed their insights to moments of quiet reflection. These moments allow ideas to germinate, connections to form, and perspectives to broaden, often in ways that deliberate effort cannot achieve. Stillness also strengthens your connection to the world around you. In the quiet, you become more attuned to the rhythms of nature and the nuances of human interaction. Relationships deepen as you bring a calmer, more present version of yourself into your connections. The stillness within you creates a space for others to feel seen and heard, fostering trust and understanding. Cultivating stillness requires no grand effort, only the willingness to pause and be present. It might be a few minutes spent sitting quietly, the act of closing your eyes and focusing on your breath, or simply gazing out at a horizon. These moments, though small, have the power to ripple through your life, creating a foundation of peace that supports you in all you do. In stillness, you remember what it means to simply exist, free from the need to achieve or prove. You reconnect with the essence of being, a state that is both grounding and expansive. The value of stillness is not found in what it accomplishes, but in what it reveals the truth of who you are beneath the layers of noise and motion. Letting go is one of the most challenging yet liberating acts we can undertake. It is an art, a delicate practice of releasing what no longer serves us, be it emotions, attachments, expectations, or even identities we've outgrown. To let go is not to give up or abandon, but to surrender the illusion of control and allow life to flow naturally. It is a process of freeing oneself from the weight of what was, so that space may be created for what could be. Holding on is instinctive. We cling to the familiar, even when it no longer brings us joy or peace, because it offers a sense of security. The past becomes a refuge, a narrative we return to either to relive its pleasures or to wrestle with its pains. But in clinging to the past, we close ourselves off from the present. The grip of attachment keeps us rooted in what has already happened, preventing us from embracing the fullness of life as it unfolds. Letting go begins with acknowledgement. It requires us to recognize what we are holding on to and understand the reasons behind it. Perhaps it is a memory we cannot release, a relationship that no longer aligns with our growth, or an aspiration that no longer resonates with who we are becoming. Whatever the attachment, it often carries with it a story, a belief about ourselves or the world that we've woven into our identity. To let go, we must first see these stories for what they are, constructs of the mind, not immutable truths. The art of letting go is rooted in acceptance. It is the willingness to face reality as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. This does not mean resignation or passivity, rather. It is an act of profound courage. Acceptance allows us to release resistance and make peace with what we cannot change. In this state of surrender, we find clarity and freedom. We come to understand that life is not about holding on to every moment, but about experiencing each moment fully and then moving forward. Letting go also involves trust in ourselves and in the unfolding of life. It is a recognition that clinging to what was does not ensure happiness or security. In fact, it often does the opposite, tethering us to pain or stagnation. When we let go, we open ourselves to new possibilities, allowing life to surprise us in ways we could not have imagined. Trusting the process of letting go means believing that, even in the absence of certainty, we are capable of navigating whatever lies ahead. This practice is not without its challenges. Letting go can evoke a sense of loss, as it often requires us to relinquish not just external attachments, but also aspects of ourselves. We may need to release old habits, beliefs, or versions of our identity that no longer serve our growth. This process, though painful at times, is ultimately transformative. It clears the path for a deeper, truer version of ourselves to emerge. The art of letting go is not a one-time act, but an ongoing practice. Life is a constant cycle of holding on and releasing, of beginnings and endings. Each time we let go, we strengthen our capacity for resilience and adaptability. We learn to trust that, even in the face of uncertainty, we can find stability within ourselves. Through letting go, we discover a profound sense of freedom. No longer weighed down by the past or constrained by fear of the future, we are able to fully inhabit the present moment. We become more open, more receptive to the beauty and possibility that life offers. Letting go is not about erasing the past or forgetting what has shaped us, but about honoring it and then stepping forward unburdened with the grace and courage to embrace what comes next. Consistency is the quiet force behind meaningful transformation. It is not the grandeur of a single act, but the persistence of small, deliberate actions over time that shapes the course of our lives. The allure of intensity often tempts us with the promise of swift results, but it is consistency that lays the foundation for lasting change. Through steady effort, we harness the power of incremental progress, building momentum toward our goals. Intensity burns brightly but briefly. It is like a flash of lightning, impressive, attention-grabbing, yet fleeting. Consistency, on the other hand, resembles the steady glow of a candle, illuminating the path ahead with reliability and endurance. While intensity can ignite passion and enthusiasm, it is consistency that sustains the journey. The grand gestures of intensity may feel satisfying in the moment, but they often lack the staying power needed to create profound and enduring shifts. Consistency begins with showing up. It does not demand perfection or extraordinary feats. It simply asks for commitment, the willingness to take one step at a time, no matter how small. Whether it is cultivating a skill, nurturing a relationship, or improving oneself, the key lies in the regularity of effort. Each action, no matter how seemingly insignificant, contributes to the cumulative effect of growth. It is the repetition of these actions that creates habits, and habits and habits in turn shape who we become. The beauty of consistency lies in its compounding effect. Small actions performed consistently over time yield results far greater than the sum of their parts. Consider a drop of water falling onto a rock. A single drop has little impact, but over time the steady rhythm of water can wear away even the hardest stone. In the same way, consistent effort, however modest, has the power to overcome challenges and achieve what once seemed insurmountable. Consistency also builds trust not only with others, but with yourself. Each time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce your belief in your own reliability and discipline. This self-trust becomes a cornerstone of confidence, motivating you to persevere, even when the path feels difficult or progress appears slow. Consistency teaches patience, reminding us that meaningful change often requires time and persistence. This practice is not without its challenges. Life's unpredictability can disrupt routines, and the monotony of repetition may test your resolve. Yet it is in these moments that consistency becomes most valuable. The ability to persist, even when enthusiasm wanes or obstacles arise, is what sets consistency apart from intensity. It is a quiet form of resilience, a refusal to be derailed by temporary setbacks or distractions. Consistency also requires a shift in perspective. It is easy to measure success by dramatic milestones or immediate results, but consistency asks us to focus on the process rather than the outcome. It encourages us to value the act of showing up, knowing that each step forward, however small, brings us closer to our goals. By embracing the process, we learn to find satisfaction in the journey itself, rather than constantly seeking validation from external achievements. Consistency fosters a sense of stability and balance. It allows you to pace yourself, avoiding the burnout that often accompanies intense bursts of effort. Instead of pushing yourself to extremes, you create a rhythm that is sustainable and harmonious with the demands of your life. This balance not only supports your well-being, but also increases the likelihood of long-term success. Through consistency, you discover that progress is not a straight line, but a series of small, steady movements forward. There will be days when the effort feels effortless and days when it feels like a struggle. Yet it is the act of showing up, regardless of how you feel, that ultimately defines the trajectory of your growth. Consistency, though unassuming, is a powerful force, one that shapes habits, strengthens discipline, and unlocks the potential for profound and lasting change. Relationships are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives, connecting us to others in ways that shape our experiences, values, and sense of belonging. Investing in relationships is not merely about the time or energy spent with others, but about cultivating meaningful connections that nurture mutual growth and understanding. Such investments enrich our lives immeasurably, providing support, perspective, and the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from authentic human connection. To invest in relationships is to approach them with intentionality and care. It means recognizing the value of those around us and prioritizing their presence in our lives. This does not require grand gestures or constant interaction, but rather a consistent and genuine effort to nurture the bonds we share. It is in the small acts of kindness, the moments of shared laughter, and the willingness to listen deeply that relationships flourish. The foundation of any meaningful relationship is trust. Trust is built gradually through actions that demonstrate reliability, honesty, and empathy. It is earned when we honor our commitments, respect boundaries, and show up for others in moments of need. Trust transforms relationships from superficial connections into safe havens where vulnerability is met with understanding and acceptance. Another cornerstone of strong relationships is communication. Clear and open communication fosters understanding, resolves conflicts, and strengthens bonds. It is not just about speaking, but about listening, truly listening with the intent to understand rather than respond. Through attentive listening, we create space for others to express themselves authentically, knowing they are heard and valued. Communication allows us to navigate the complexities of relationships with grace, ensuring that misunderstandings do not fester into deeper divides. Investing in relationships also requires a willingness to give without expecting something in return. Genuine connections are not transactional, they thrive on acts of generosity and selflessness. This does not mean sacrificing your own well-being or needs, but rather extending kindness and support in ways that uplift and affirm the other person. The act of giving, whether it is your time, energy, or understanding, strengthens the bond and reinforces the mutual respect that underpins a healthy relationship. At the heart of relationship building is empathy. Empathy allows us to step into another's experience, to see the world through their eyes and feel what they feel. It is the bridge that connects us to others on a deeper level, enabling us to respond with compassion and sensitivity. Through empathy, we acknowledge the shared humanity that binds us all, fostering connections that are both profound and enduring. Investing in relationships also means embracing imperfection. No relationship is without its challenges, as individuals bring their own histories, perspectives, and imperfections to the table. What matters is not the absence of conflict, but how we navigate it. Approaching disagreements with patience and a willingness to understand fosters growth, both individually and collectively. These moments of tension, when met with grace, often deepen the connection, revealing the strength and resilience of the bond. Time is one of the most valuable resources we can offer in relationships. In a world that often pulls us in countless directions, dedicating time to those we care about signals their importance in our lives. It is in the shared experiences, the unhurried conversations, and the quiet presence of being together that relationships truly deepen. These moments create memories, strengthen bonds, and remind us of the joy and meaning that connection brings. Relationships also offer profound opportunities for growth. Through our interactions with others, we learn about ourselves, our strengths, weaknesses, and capacity for love and understanding. Others can hold up a mirror, reflecting truths we might not see on our own. In this way, relationships challenge us to grow, to become more compassionate, patient, and self-aware. To invest in relationships is to recognize that they are not static but living, evolving connections that require care and attention. When we prioritize relationships, we enrich not only the lives of others but our own as well, creating a network of support, love, and shared humanity that sustains us through life's joys and challenges. Gratitude is more than a fleeting emotion. It is a transformative practice that can fundamentally alter our perspective and enrich our lives. When cultivated intentionally, gratitude becomes a lens through which we view the world, allowing us to recognize and appreciate the abundance that surrounds us. This practice invites us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, fostering a deeper connection to ourselves and to others. Gratitude is about awareness. It begins with the ability to notice the small wonders in our everyday lives, the warmth of sunlight on our skin, the laughter of a friend, the comfort of a familiar routine. In a fast-paced world often characterized by distraction and competition, gratitude encourages us to pause, reflect, and appreciate the present moment. This practice of mindfulness allows us to experience life more fully, drawing our attention to the richness that exists in the here and now. One powerful aspect of gratitude is its capacity to transform our mindset. When we consciously acknowledge the positives in our lives, we counterbalance the negativity that often dominates our thoughts. This does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending that difficulties do not exist. Rather, it is about cultivating a balanced view that honors both the light and the dark. By focusing on what we are grateful for, we create a mental space that nurtures resilience, optimism, and hope. Practicing gratitude can also enhance our emotional well-being. Studies have shown that individuals who regularly engage in gratitude practices experience lower levels of anxiety and depression. This is because gratitude promotes positive emotions, fostering a sense of contentment and fulfillment. When we express gratitude, we activate the brain's reward center, releasing neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which contribute to feelings of happiness and well-being. Gratitude also serves as a powerful tool for strengthening relationships. When we express appreciation for others, be it friends, family, or colleagues, we foster deeper connections and create a sense of belonging. A simple thank you can go a long way in acknowledging someone's effort, kindness, or presence in our lives. This recognition fosters an atmosphere of positivity and support, encouraging others to reciprocate and engage in acts of kindness themselves. Gratitude cultivates an environment where relationships can flourish, built on mutual respect and appreciation. One way to cultivate gratitude as a practice is through journaling. Keeping a gratitude journal allows you to regularly reflect on and record the things you are thankful for, creating a tangible reminder of the abundance in your life. This practice can be as simple as writing down 3 things you appreciate each day. Over time, this habit trains your mind to seek out the positive, shifting your focus away from the negative and helping you to see the beauty in even the smallest moments. Another effective method is to incorporate gratitude into your daily routine. Whether it's through morning affirmations, setting aside a moment of reflection before meals, or expressing gratitude during conversations, finding ways to weave gratitude into your day creates a consistent practice that reinforces its importance in your life. The more you make gratitude a priority, the more it becomes second nature, influencing your thoughts and actions in profound ways. Practicing gratitude in challenging times can be particularly transformative. During moments of difficulty or uncertainty, acknowledging even the smallest sources of support or hope can shift your perspective. This practice does not diminish the reality of struggle. Instead, it highlights the resilience of the human spirit. Finding reasons to be grateful amidst hardship can foster a sense of empowerment and encourage you to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. As gratitude becomes an integral part of your life, it has the potential to create a ripple effect, influencing not only your own well-being but also that of those around you. A grateful mindset fosters positivity, encouraging others to engage in similar practices. By expressing gratitude openly and regularly, you contribute to a culture of appreciation that uplifts and inspires. Gratitude is a practice that invites us to live more fully and authentically. It is a reminder that even in the face of challenges, there is always something to be thankful for. By cultivating gratitude as a way of life, we not only enhance our own experiences, but also create a more compassionate and connected world. In embracing gratitude as a practice, we embark on a profound journey of transformation. This journey shifts our perspective, guiding us from a focus on scarcity to one of abundance. As we cultivate gratitude, we foster resilience and enhance our emotional well-being, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with a sense of hope and purpose. Moreover, the practice of gratitude strengthens our relationships, deepening our connections with others and creating a supportive community built on appreciation and kindness. By incorporating gratitude into our daily routines, we can create lasting change not only within ourselves but also in the world around us. Gratitude invites us to live more fully, reminding us that every moment holds the potential for joy and connection, enriching our lives in ways we may not yet fully comprehend. Success is not merely a destination, it is an intricate dance of decisions, habits, and perspectives. To understand what sets the successful apart, we must first examine not what they do, but what they consciously choose not to do. Fear is an inevitable companion on the journey of life. It whispers doubts, paints worst-case scenarios, and erects barriers in the mind long before any real obstacles appear. It is a force that binds, paralyzes, and limits. Yet successful individuals have an extraordinary relationship with fear, not by banishing it, but by transforming it. They do not let fear dictate their actions, for they understand that to be governed by fear is to live a life of hesitation and missed opportunities. To these individuals, fear is not an enemy but a signal. It serves as an indicator of where growth lies. When fear arises, it is often because the path ahead carries significance, something worthwhile, challenging, and perhaps unfamiliar. They see fear as the mind's attempt to protect them from the unknown, but they also recognize that staying within the confines of the familiar is the quickest way to stagnation. Growth, after all, requires stepping into discomfort, and discomfort is fear's constant companion. When faced with fear, successful people pause to examine its roots. They ask themselves whether the fear is rational or a projection of their imagination. Often they find that what they fear is not the reality of a situation, but their own interpretation of it. They question these narratives and strip away the illusions fear creates. This process of self-inquiry allows them to see fear for what it is, a shadow, not a solid wall. Shadows may look imposing, but they cannot stop you from moving forward. This approach does not mean that successful people are fearless. Far from it. They feel fear just as deeply as anyone else, but they have learned to act despite it. They refuse to let fear dictate their choices because they know that decisions made in fear rarely align with their higher purpose. Fear-driven actions are reactive, aimed at avoidance rather than progress. By choosing courage over fear, they create a life of intentionality and authenticity. Consider how fear manifests in moments of uncertainty. Fear whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if the outcome is worse than you imagine? Successful individuals respond to these questions with another, what if I succeed? What if this leads to something greater than I can currently see? They redirect their focus from what could go wrong to what could go right. In doing so, they reframe fear not as a barrier, but as an opportunity to rise above doubt. There is also an acceptance of fear's role in the process. Successful people understand that fear often signals the edges of their comfort zone. It emerges when they stand at the threshold of growth, when they are about to challenge limitations or take risks that could lead to profound transformation. Instead of retreating, they lean into fear, using it as a compass that points toward meaningful action. This ability to embrace fear comes from practice and perspective. They recall moments when they acted despite their fear and found success or growth on the other side. These memories build resilience, showing them that fear is temporary, but the rewards of courage are lasting. Each act of bravery strengthens their ability to confront fear the next time it arises. Successful individuals understand the cost of living a fear-dictated life. They recognize that letting fear guide their actions leads to missed opportunities, unrealized potential, and a life confined by what-ifs. They would rather face the discomfort of fear than the regret of inaction. They are not reckless but calculated, weighing the risks with clarity and proceeding when they see that the potential for growth outweighs the fear of failure. In their eyes, fear is not an obstacle but a challenge, a call to move forward with intention. It is a voice that can be quieted, a shadow that can be passed through, and a force that, when understood, becomes a source of strength rather than weakness. This perspective allows them to act decisively, pursue their dreams, and achieve what others might deem impossible. Fear may be present, but it never holds the reins of their destiny. Failure is an unavoidable aspect of life, a natural consequence of effort and ambition. It carries lessons, reveals truths, and challenges perceptions. However, for many, failure becomes a weight, something to carry long after the moment has passed. Successful individuals take a different approach. They do not dwell on past failures. Instead, they treat each setback as a transient moment, a point on a much larger journey, rather than a defining event. When failure occurs, it is easy to spiral into self-criticism and regret. The mind replays the event, dissecting every decision, action, and outcome. This fixation can lead to stagnation, as the fear of repeating the same mistake overshadows the willingness to try again. Successful people recognize this trap. They know that dwelling on what has already happened serves no purpose beyond draining energy and focus. The past, they understand, is unchangeable. What matters is how they respond to it and what they take forward. Instead of avoiding failure, they confront it directly. They allow themselves a moment to acknowledge the disappointment, to process the emotions it brings, and to reflect on the situation. But they do not linger. They sift through the experience with an analytical lens, identifying what went wrong and why. This is not an exercise in self-reproach, but in understanding. They ask questions not to assign blame, but to uncover lessons: what can be improved, what should be avoided, and what they can do differently in the future. This approach requires a mindset rooted in growth. Successful individuals view failure not as an endpoint, but as a part of the process. They understand that success is not linear, it is a series of peaks and valleys, of trial and error. Each failure is a step closer to understanding what works and what doesn't. By shifting their focus from the loss to the learning, they transform failure into a tool for growth rather than a source of shame. They are also deeply aware of the stories they tell themselves about failure. Dwelling on it often comes from attaching personal identity to outcomes. Failing at something does not make one a failure, yet many fall into this mental trap. Successful individuals separate their worth from their results. They know that a failed attempt does not diminish their abilities or potential. It is merely feedback, a reflection of strategies or circumstances, not a verdict on who they are. The ability to move past failure also stems from their understanding of time and opportunity. They realize that every moment spent dwelling on the past is a moment taken away from building the future. The energy consumed by regret could be better used in planning, strategizing, or taking new action. For them, forward motion is the antidote to the paralysis of dwelling. The act of trying again, of refining their approach and stepping back into the arena, is what ensures progress. The perspective plays a crucial role in how they view failure. Rather than seeing it as something to be avoided at all costs, they accept it as a sign of effort and ambition. If they never failed, it would mean they were not pushing their boundaries or taking meaningful risks. Failure becomes a badge of courage, a marker of their willingness to strive for something greater than comfort or certainty. Successful individuals also cultivate resilience through their response to failure. Resilience is not the absence of pain or disappointment, but the ability to rise again, to persist in the face of difficulty. They draw strength from the understanding that failure is temporary, a single moment in a much longer journey. With this resilience, they can absorb the lessons failure provides and use them as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. They know that their past does not define their future. Each failure is a moment of learning, a chance to recalibrate, and an opportunity to grow. By refusing to dwell on what has gone wrong, they free themselves to focus on what can go right. They keep their eyes forward, grounded in the belief that success is not the absence of failure, but the mastery of what follows it. Validation is a deeply ingrained human desire, the need to feel acknowledged, accepted, and valued. It often drives behaviors and decisions, shaping how people interact with the world. Yet, successful individuals understand the subtle trap hidden within this need. They never seek external validation, because they know it shifts power away from their inner convictions and places it in the hands of others. When one relies on external validation, their sense of worth becomes tied to the opinions and approval of those around them. This creates a fragile foundation, easily disrupted by criticism, indifference, or rejection. Successful individuals recognize this vulnerability and consciously choose to build their confidence from within. They measure their worth not by how others perceive them, but by their alignment with their values, goals, and principles. This mindset allows them to act authentically, unburdened by the pressure to conform or please. They do not shape their choices to fit external expectations. Instead, they act from a place of self-awareness, guided by what they know to be true for themselves. This independence of thought frees them to take risks, innovate, and pursue paths that may not yet have the approval of others, but are deeply aligned with their vision. In moments of achievement, they do not seek applause or recognition to validate their efforts. They understand that true fulfillment comes from the intrinsic satisfaction of a job well done, of knowing they have given their best and stayed true to their purpose. External praise, while pleasant, is fleeting and cannot sustain the deep sense of accomplishment that arises from internal validation. Similarly, they are not swayed by criticism. They listen to feedback, yes, but they discern between constructive insights and baseless opinions. They do not let negative judgments derail their focus or diminish their belief in themselves. Their confidence is not contingent on universal approval, but on their commitment to growth and improvement. This detachment from external validation also allows them to remain grounded in the face of success. While others might become overly attached to accolades or recognition, they remain focused on the larger picture. They know that validation from others is not a reflection of their true worth, but merely an echo of temporary circumstances. By not chasing it, they avoid the pitfalls of ego and remain steady in their pursuit of long-term goals. Successful individuals also recognize the danger of allowing external validation to dictate their actions. When decisions are made solely to gain approval, authenticity is lost, and the pursuit of excellence is replaced by the pursuit of acceptance. This compromises both the quality of their work and their sense of self. By staying rooted in their internal motivations, they ensure that their actions are purposeful and aligned with their higher aspirations. Building this resilience to external validation requires a deep connection with oneself. Successful people invest time in understanding who they are, what they value, and why they do what they do. This clarity becomes their anchor, a source of strength that keeps them steady amid the shifting tides of opinions. They do not look outward for affirmation, because they've already found it within. Another aspect of their mindset is their ability to distinguish between seeking validation and appreciating connection. They value relationships, mentorship, and collaboration, but they do not depend on these for their sense of self-worth. They are open to learning and growing through their interactions, but their identity remains firmly rooted in their inner world. By refusing to seek external validation, they cultivate a sense of freedom to think independently, to take bold action, and to remain true to themselves. This freedom allows them to navigate life with confidence and purpose, unshaken by the fleeting judgments of others. They embody the truth that validation is not something to be found outside, but something to be nurtured within. Complaining is an alluring habit. It provides a momentary sense of relief, an outlet to voice frustrations and seek sympathy. Yet, successful individuals avoid wasting time in complaint because they recognize its futility. Complaining does not change circumstances or resolve challenges. Instead, it drains energy, fosters negativity, and shifts focus away from constructive action. They understand that life is filled with imperfections, setbacks, and inconveniences. Challenges are inevitable, and obstacles often arise without warning. However, dwelling on what is wrong does little to move them closer to a solution. Instead of indulging in complaints, they channel their energy into understanding the situation and finding a way forward. This proactive approach ensures that they maintain control over their responses, regardless of external conditions. Complaining often stems from a sense of helplessness, a belief that one is at the mercy of circumstances beyond their control. Successful people counter this mindset by focusing on what they can influence. Even when faced with challenges outside their power to change, they shift their attention to how they can adapt or grow. They ask questions like, what can I learn from this, or how can I use this to my advantage? These questions replace complaints with curiosity and determination, transforming setbacks into opportunities. Another reason they avoid complaining is their awareness of the impact it has on their mindset. Complaining reinforces a sense of victimhood, magnifying problems and diminishing resilience. It creates a mental loop that keeps them fixated on the negative, making it harder to see possibilities or take decisive action. By refusing to engage in this pattern, successful individuals cultivate a mindset of optimism and perseverance. They also understand that complaining can ripple outward, influencing those around them. Negative energy spreads easily, and frequent complaints can lower morale, strain relationships, and create an atmosphere of dissatisfaction. Successful people take responsibility for the energy they bring into their interactions. They choose to focus on solutions, not only for their own benefit, but to inspire those around them to do the same. This approach does not mean that successful individuals ignore problems or suppress their emotions. They acknowledge challenges, frustrations, and disappointments, but they do not linger in them. They process their feelings in a healthy way, allowing themselves to confront and understand the root of their discontent. Once they have done so, they shift their focus toward what can be done to address the issue. In the face of adversity, they practice gratitude. Instead of fixating on what is wrong, they remind themselves of what is still going right. Gratitude does not negate challenges, but it provides balance, helping them maintain perspective and resilience. This habit of focusing on the positive allows them to navigate difficulties with a sense of purpose and clarity. Successful individuals are also mindful of time, recognizing it as one of their most valuable resources. Complaining is a time thief, taking away precious moments that could be spent learning, improving, or progressing. They understand that every minute spent lamenting a problem is a minute not spent solving it. By choosing action over complaint, they ensure that their time is used effectively. Their ability to rise above complaining stems from their belief in personal responsibility. They see themselves as the architects of their lives, accountable for their choices and outcomes. Even when circumstances are unfavorable, they take ownership of their responses. This sense of responsibility empowers them to take action, rather than passively bemoaning their situation. In refusing to waste time complaining, successful individuals cultivate a mindset of resilience, focus, and determination. They acknowledge challenges without being consumed by them, choosing instead to direct their energy toward growth and solutions. This discipline allows them to remain forward-focused, undeterred by setbacks, and unwavering in their pursuit of their goals. Comparison is a deeply human tendency, a way to measure progress, success, and worth against the backdrop of others' lives. Yet, successful individuals avoid falling into this trap. They understand that comparing themselves to others is not only unproductive but also detrimental to their growth and sense of fulfillment. Instead, they focus on their own journey, knowing that true success is defined by personal progress, not by how they measure up to someone else. When one engages in comparison, the focus shifts outward, away from individual goals and values. The achievements, possessions, or circumstances of others become a benchmark, overshadowing personal accomplishments and potential. This habit can foster feelings of inadequacy or envy, undermining confidence and diminishing motivation. Successful people sidestep this by keeping their gaze firmly fixed on their path. They recognize that the success of others is not a reflection of their own abilities or worth, but simply a different story unfolding in its own time. Successful individuals understand that comparison often leads to distorted perceptions. What is seen from the outside is rarely the full picture. People tend to present the best versions of themselves, hiding struggles, failures, and vulnerabilities. Comparing oneself to these polished images creates unrealistic standards, leading to frustration and self-doubt. By focusing inward, successful people avoid the pitfalls of these incomplete narratives. They measure their progress against their past selves, seeking to improve rather than compete. This inward focus allows them to cultivate a sense of purpose and authenticity. When decisions are guided by external comparisons, they risk being steered away from what truly matters to them. Goals and actions may become a reflection of others' priorities rather than their own. Successful individuals resist this distraction by staying true to their unique aspirations and values. They define success on their own terms, free from the influence of outside expectations. Another reason they avoid comparison is the understanding that everyone's journey is different. People start from different places, face unique challenges, and progress at their own pace. Comparing one's chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 is not only unfair but also unwise. Successful individuals embrace the uniqueness of their path, appreciating the lessons and growth it provides. They know that their journey is theirs alone, shaped by their experiences, choices, and resilience. By rejecting comparison, they foster a mindset of gratitude and abundance. Instead of fixating on what others have or achieve, they focus on what they have accomplished and what they can still create. Gratitude shifts their perspective from lack to possibility, reinforcing their belief in their ability to shape their destiny. This positive outlook fuels their determination and helps them remain grounded amidst external pressures. They understand that comparison can be a thief of joy. When one constantly looks outward, it becomes difficult to appreciate personal milestones and victories. The habit of comparison can diminish even significant achievements, as they are measured against an ever-shifting standard. Successful people protect their joy by celebrating their progress and recognizing the value of their efforts. They know that fulfillment comes from within, not from external validation or competition. This approach also enhances their relationships. Comparing oneself to others can breed resentment or jealousy, straining connections and creating unnecessary tension. Successful individuals avoid this by approaching relationships with a sense of camaraderie rather than competition. They celebrate the success of others without feeling diminished, recognizing that someone else's achievements do not take away from their own potential. Their ability to avoid comparison stems from a deep sense of self-awareness and confidence. They are secure in their identity, understanding that their worth is not dependent on how they rank against others. This inner strength allows them to focus on what truly matters: their growth, their goals, and the impact they wish to make. By refusing to compare, they free themselves to live authentically, work purposefully, and achieve success on their own terms. Responsibility is the cornerstone of a life well lived, and successful individuals understand this deeply. They never shy away from responsibility, knowing that it is through ownership of their actions and choices that they gain control over their destiny. Responsibility is not a burden to them, It is a privilege, an acknowledgement of their power to shape outcomes, influence others, and create meaningful change. Avoiding responsibility often stems from fear of failure, fear of criticism, or fear of the effort required. Yet, successful people do not allow fear to dictate their actions. They confront challenges head-on, even when the path is uncertain or the stakes are high. They know that growth lies not in evading responsibility, but in embracing it, even when it feels uncomfortable or overwhelming. Each task, decision, or problem they take ownership of becomes an opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve. By taking responsibility, they cultivate a sense of autonomy and empowerment. They understand that waiting for others to act or blaming external factors for setbacks only leads to stagnation. When something goes wrong, they do not waste time pointing fingers or making excuses. Instead, they ask themselves what they can do to address the issue and prevent it from happening again. This proactive mindset ensures that they remain in control, regardless of the circumstances. This commitment to responsibility also extends to their failures. Successful individuals recognize that failure is an inevitable part of the journey. Rather than avoiding blame or deflecting accountability, they own their mistakes fully. In doing so, they demonstrate integrity and humility, earning the trust and respect of those around them. More importantly, they view failures as valuable lessons, using them as stepping stones toward future success. By analyzing what went wrong and taking corrective action, they turn setbacks into opportunities for growth. Taking responsibility also means being reliable and dependable. Successful people honor their commitments and follow through on their promises, no matter how small. They understand that consistency builds credibility, and they take pride in being someone others can count on. Whether it is meeting a deadline, supporting a team, or fulfilling a personal obligation, they approach their responsibilities with diligence and care. This sense of responsibility is not limited to their own lives. They also feel a responsibility toward others, whether it be their family, colleagues, or community. They recognize the interconnectedness of human relationships and the impact their actions can have on those around them. This awareness motivates them to act with integrity, to lead by example, and to contribute positively wherever they can. They do not view responsibility as a solitary endeavor, but as a shared commitment to the greater good. Their willingness to take responsibility also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. When faced with adversity, they do not dwell on what is beyond their control. Instead, they focus on what they can do to navigate the situation and move forward. This resilience enables them to adapt to changing circumstances and to persevere in the face of difficulties. Responsibility for them is not a weight to carry, but a tool to wield in overcoming obstacles. Taking responsibility also sharpens their decision-making. When they know they are accountable for the outcomes of their choices, they approach decisions with greater care and consideration. They weigh options thoughtfully, anticipate consequences, and act with intention. This disciplined approach minimizes impulsive or reckless actions, ensuring that their decisions align with their values and goals. By refusing to avoid responsibility, successful individuals also free themselves from the helplessness that comes with passivity. They know that waiting for someone else to solve problems or make things right only delays progress. Taking initiative and accepting responsibility gives them the agency to create change and take control of their circumstances. Their embrace of responsibility is rooted in their belief in personal power. They see themselves as the architects of their lives, fully capable of shaping their reality through their choices and actions. This unwavering commitment to responsibility is what allows them to rise above challenges, inspire others, and achieve lasting success. Learning is a lifelong process, and successful individuals understand this better than most. They never stop learning because they recognize that growth, innovation, and mastery depend on the continuous acquisition of knowledge and skills. For them, learning is not confined to formal education or structured environments. It is a way of life woven into every experience, challenge, and opportunity they encounter. They approach life with an open mind, understanding that no matter how much they know, there is always more to learn. This humility keeps them curious and receptive to new ideas, perspectives, and insights. They do not see learning as a sign of inadequacy, but as an acknowledgement of the infinite possibilities for improvement. This mindset allows them to embrace change and adapt to new circumstances with confidence and ease. Successful individuals are aware that the world is in a constant state of evolution. Industries shift, technologies advance, and ideas that were once groundbreaking become outdated. By committing to lifelong learning, they stay ahead of the curve, ensuring that they remain relevant and competitive in an ever-changing landscape. They proactively seek out new information, not only to keep up, but to innovate and lead. They also recognize that learning is not limited to acquiring technical skills or academic knowledge. Personal growth is equally important. They strive to understand themselves better, exploring their strengths, weaknesses, emotions, and behaviors. This self-awareness enables them to make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and maintain a sense of balance and fulfillment in their lives. Learning is not always easy, and it often requires stepping out of one's comfort zone. Successful individuals embrace this challenge, knowing that growth lies on the other side of discomfort. They are willing to make mistakes, face uncertainty, and risk failure in the pursuit of knowledge. Each misstep becomes a lesson, and each lesson brings them closer to mastery. They do not fear the process of learning because they understand its value. They also understand that learning is not a solitary endeavor. They seek out mentors, collaborate with peers, and engage in meaningful conversations with people who can expand their horizons. They value the experiences and wisdom of others, seeing every interaction as an opportunity to learn something new. By surrounding themselves with diverse and insightful individuals, they enrich their understanding of the world and deepen their knowledge in ways they could not achieve alone. Successful individuals are intentional about their learning. They do not passively wait for opportunities to come their way, they actively seek them out. Whether through books, lectures, hands-on experiences, or thoughtful reflection, they make learning a priority in their daily lives. They set goals, ask questions, and challenge themselves to think critically. This deliberate approach ensures that their efforts are focused and impactful. They also appreciate the cumulative nature of learning. Every small piece of knowledge they acquire builds on the last, creating a foundation of expertise and understanding. Over time, this accumulation of insights gives them a significant advantage, allowing them to connect ideas, solve complex problems, and make informed decisions with ease. They are patient with the process, knowing that even small, consistent efforts to learn will yield significant results over time. By never stopping their pursuit of knowledge, successful individuals cultivate a sense of curiosity and wonder that keeps their minds sharp and their spirits vibrant. They remain engaged with the world around them, eager to explore, discover, and grow. This insatiable desire to learn fuels their passion and inspires them to reach new heights. Their commitment to lifelong learning is not just about achieving external success. It is about honoring the potential within themselves and embracing the journey of becoming the best version of who they can be. In their eyes, learning is not an obligation or a task, it is a privilege and a gift, one that allows them to live a life of meaning, purpose, and endless possibility. Successful individuals are often characterized by their ability to maintain a focus on long-term goals, resisting the allure of short-term gratification. In a world filled with instant rewards and immediate satisfaction, this discipline sets them apart. They understand that the journey toward meaningful accomplishments requires patience, persistence, and a commitment to the future rather than fleeting pleasures. This perspective stems from a deep understanding of the value of delayed gratification. Successful people recognize that many worthwhile goals take time to achieve. They are aware that the most significant accomplishments often come from sustained effort, strategic planning, and the willingness to endure hardship in pursuit of something greater. This awareness allows them to prioritize actions that align with their long-term vision, even when faced with enticing distractions. The ability to delay gratification is rooted in self-control. Successful individuals cultivate this skill, understanding that it is essential for achieving their objectives. They create a mental framework that helps them evaluate their choices. When tempted by immediate rewards, they ask themselves whether these rewards align with their long-term goals. This practice allows them to make more informed decisions, ensuring that their actions consistently reflect their aspirations. They also understand that sacrificing long-term goals for short-term pleasures often leads to regret. Instant rewards may provide a temporary sense of happiness, but these moments are often short-lived. The joy derived from immediate gratification can pale in comparison to the fulfillment of achieving a long-term goal. By focusing on their overarching objectives, successful individuals cultivate a deeper, more enduring sense of satisfaction that cannot be easily diminished by transient pleasures. Successful individuals are adept at setting clear priorities. They outline their long-term goals and break them down into actionable steps. This methodical approach allows them to stay on track, making it easier to resist distractions that might derail their progress. They keep their eyes on the prize, consistently reminding themselves of the ultimate reward that awaits them at the end of their journey. They are also mindful of the consequences of their choices. Each decision they make has the potential to impact their trajectory. They weigh the pros and cons of short-term indulgences against the benefits of working toward their long-term goals. This analytical mindset helps them avoid impulsive actions that could hinder their progress. By taking a step back and considering the broader implications of their choices, they can make more thoughtful and strategic decisions. Successful individuals often find motivation in the stories of others who have achieved great things through perseverance. They look to role models and mentors who exemplify the virtues of hard work and commitment to long-term goals. These examples serve as reminders that the path to success is rarely linear. It is often fraught with obstacles and setbacks. By learning from the experiences of others, they reinforce their belief in the value of sticking to their long-term vision. This dedication to long-term goals is not without its challenges. There will inevitably be moments of doubt, frustration, and fatigue. However, successful individuals use these moments as opportunities for reflection and growth. They remind themselves of their purpose, revisiting their goals and the reasons behind them. This practice of self-reflection helps them recharge and recommit to their journey, strengthening their resolve to stay the course. They also celebrate small wins along the way. Acknowledging progress, no matter how incremental, reinforces their commitment to their long-term vision. These celebrations act as motivation, reminding them that their efforts are paying off and fueling their desire to continue pushing forward. By maintaining a sense of accomplishment, they are less likely to succumb to the temptations of immediate gratification. Successful individuals possess an unwavering commitment to their long-term goals. They understand that true fulfillment comes from the journey itself, shaped by the lessons learned and the resilience built along the way. By resisting the allure of short-term gratification, they pave the path toward a future rich with achievement, purpose, and lasting satisfaction. This discipline, rooted in self-awareness and strategic thinking, empowers them to create a life that reflects their deepest aspirations and values. In the grand tapestry of success, the threads of discipline, patience, and unwavering commitment to long-term goals weave a narrative that transcends the allure of immediate rewards. Successful individuals exemplify the power of perseverance, demonstrating that while short-term gratification may offer fleeting pleasure, it is the pursuit of enduring aspirations that truly shapes a fulfilling life. By embracing responsibility for their actions, continuously seeking knowledge, and cultivating self-control, they navigate challenges with resilience and clarity. Their journey is not merely about achieving specific milestones, but about the growth and transformation that occur along the way by prioritizing their long-term vision over momentary distractions. They not only achieve their personal goals, but also inspire those around them to pursue their paths with the same determination and purpose. In a world where instant satisfaction is often glorified, these individuals stand as a testament to the profound rewards that come from dedication, self-awareness, and an unwavering focus on the future.